So everybody put a number 3 in the chat if the chat's working now.
There you go. It's working.
Are you seeing them? Oh, yeah, yeah. All right.
There you
Holy
go.
crap, that's a lot of 3s. All right, cool. All right. Yo, I'm super excited for this. As a lot of you guys know, some of you guys saw my posts about this stuff. I'm not gonna lie, when we were going through topics, me and Tanner at the beginning of this, and what was I gonna speak on, I was kind of nervous to share this just because it is some stuff we have tested that is brand freaking new. And it's literally the cutting edge in what we're doing right now. So I'm super excited to share it with you guys. Tanner pulled my arm. He convinced me. It should be a lot of fun. So let's get the right screen. All right. Can everybody see my screen? Should be good. Cool. And I will keep those chats ready, y'all, because I will probably be asking you guys to jump in with certain things. I want this to be participative, if that makes sense. Cool. All right. So the big topic for today is anti-marketing, right? Like I said, there's a new era of Facebook ads upon us, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. So first and foremost, obviously, welcome. Seriously, too, I do just want to take a moment and say thank you, guys. I think one of the most valuable things we have is our time and attention. I do not take that responsibility lightly, and I'm going to do my best to make your time and attention valuable and worth every penny that you guys are putting into it right now. So really quickly, if you guys don't know who I am, just to kind of give you the quick background, I started in advertising a little over 8 years ago, even though, yes, I know I look like I'm 17 years old half the time. I started working in advertising 8 years ago, doing e-commerce, running Facebook and Instagram ads and selling trinkets, shipping them over from China, all that sort of stuff, as a broke college kid, right? I started working for a really big remodeling company. My non-compete has expired, so I can now say this publicly. The name of the company is Thiel's Home Solutions in Ashland, Ohio. They were doing around 13 to 15 million a year while I was working there, and they got purchased by Leaf Home Solutions, Leaf Gutter Guards. A lot of you guys may know them. I started there as a appointment setter, right? Just an entry-level call center person, call in Facebook leads, Google leads, home advisor leads, etc. I got really, really good at that, became one of the top reps in our call center, and then quickly grew, right? And eventually I got to this, it wasn't really a real role that existed. It was sort of like a quasi assistant manager role where I was training some of the new call center people, dispatching stuff to the sales team. I then took over their Facebook and Instagram marketing. I had the experience from the e-commerce side, right? Eventually, we scaled that all the way up to spending over $8,000 a month in just ad spend on Facebook, which is very hard to do. If you guys have ever spent a lot of money on Facebook and Instagram ads, you would know that. And scale that up, and then even started, partaking in some of their other marketing channels and everything as well, and helping them with that. So very interesting role where I got to see a lot of the business in a large business at scale, right? We had over 50 employees, big company, right? Fast forward today, obviously I dropped out. I started Pathfinder Marketing, which is a company we run today. We've helped hundreds of painters all across the US and Canada a little bit, of course, as well. We've generated tens of millions of dollars in paint sales for our partners, trackable sales. Last year we did just over 2.2 million ourselves. And yeah, that's where we're at today. We built a pretty badass team along the way. It's one of the things I'm most proud of. And yeah. Also, for you guys that have been following my journey, just about 3 months ago exactly, we actually started our own painting company, which has been super, super fun. And that's where a lot of the information in this presentation comes from as well. So I'm not much of a painter, but I am a painting company owner now. So before we dive in, because like I said, there's going to be a lot of cutting edge stuff. So I just have to put a warning out there really quick. This is a warning for the marketers and the painters, okay? To all the marketers listening though, don't steal our stuff, okay? Please do not steal our stuff. It will not help you. I'm going to get into that in a second. Just to give you some perspective, this is literally a screenshot from yesterday. My mom literally yesterday texted me and was like, I've never seen this company before. That is literally, not quite exactly, but almost exactly parts of our ad copy and everything. If you see an ad from a painter, there's a good chance nowadays we're not running it, but it is our intellectual property. So if you are a marketer, do not steal our stuff. If you go find the new ads we are running, it has been copywritten by our attorneys. It is our intellectual property. We will come after you. If you are a marketer and you want help, just reach out and ask me. Don't steal our stuff. I will help you for free. I've helped many of you guys for free. I will jump on calls with you. There's plenty to go around, right? So please just ask for help. Don't steal it word for word. And if you are a painter listening, copying our stuff will not get you that far. Okay, it will not get you far. I literally was talking to another marketer, which you guys all know, in the space a couple days ago. And I didn't even know he had taken our ad copy, but he told me he did, and it didn't work for his clients, right? He went and literally took our stuff verbatim that I've given out in some of these presentations and went and used it, and it didn't work because he didn't know the other pieces of our strategy and how it's all working, right? So if you're a painter and you go and try to find that and copy it word for word, it won't get you far. So what I want to do today is a little different, right? And today I want to teach you our newest strategy, but more importantly, I want to teach you why it's working, not just the words on the screen. That way you can go and replicate the same thing for yourself. Okay, so if that's fair to you guys, if that's cool, drop a 4 in the chat this time if that's cool for you guys and you guys are down with that. Yep, and exactly, Bruce. Facebook ad library, 100%. That's why I'm putting the warning out there, because that's part of the game. Cool. So this whole thing is basically going to be how you can stop feeling like a sleazy marketer and profit wildly from it in the process. Okay. To give some perspective, on March 25th, as you can see in the literal date on this screenshot from my phone, I flew back to Cleveland to launch this painting company. We hadn't run a single estimate yet. The first estimate came a couple days after this. We had just launched the ads and just kind of started. I got to hang out with this cool dog on the plane, by the way. His name was Mango, this hippie lady from Tulum, Mexico, because I was in Mexico at the time. Super cool, just anecdote for anybody. But it was great, right? So flew back to Cleveland to start this company. Today is June 28th, right? So literally just over 3 months from flying back, being in Cleveland to launch this company. So this is where the discoveries really started, okay? For context, our painting company in Ohio, if you guys never saw I posted a whole announcement video kind of talking about what we're doing with this painting company. And a lot of people thought it was so we could prove our strategies work and be like, look, I'm the best marketer and all this stuff. And that's not the reason at all, right? The reason we're starting this painting company is so one, I can learn and get better, to then be able to serve our partners more and be able to help them more, and also to use it as a strategy and a testing ground to experiment. I had some pretty out of the box ideas, which you guys will see in a little bit, that I brought to some of our partners, and they were like, no, man, I'm not letting you do that with my brand. And rightfully so. So I needed a way to experiment and test willingly to be able to have an idea and launch it at 10 p.m. that same night, right? So that is why we started this company. For Kelly, why Cleveland? I'm from Cleveland, OH. I get some IOs in the chat if there's any Ohio people. But I'm from Cleveland. I was born and raised in Strongsville, right in the suburbs. So I use it as, that's the closest thing to home I have. I've been traveling the last few years, and that's why we chose Cleveland. It's just the market I probably knew the most. There we go, Noah. But like I said, it's been a giant experiment. We've tested a ton of stuff. Okay, we've had some crazy out of the box ideas. We literally tried running ads where we were giving away stuff for free. I tried bribing people with gift cards, right? People do that in the roofing industry a good bit. So I tried that. We tried ads fully made by AI. I even went and tried things that went directly against what most people would consider best practices, right? What all the marketers would consider best practices. And you'll see a theme with that later in this too. I literally even tested an ad that the ad angle was about a unicorn. I'm not even exaggerating. The ad literally talked about a unicorn and how that related to painting and whatever. Fun fact, that ad actually did decently well. So everything you guys are about to see in this presentation is what is working now, okay? Remember the date in that screenshot, March 25th. This has only been happening in the last 3 months. This is brand new. This is what is working now. No other marketers have copied this and regurgitated it. I've purposely kept the name of our painting company private so that it can't be copied and regurgitated immediately. I don't know, guys. I wanted to have a prettier presentation, so I had my assistant go through and make this prettier because I'm the king of ugly presentations. So we got some dog photos in here too. Everybody knows I love some dogs. Um, so there's a few common themes that came through these tests and discoveries. Okay. The less you sound like a marketer, the better. And we'll talk on that a good bit. And with some of Facebook's new updates, certain restrictions no longer apply. Okay, Facebook's been updating a lot of stuff, and certain rules that you had to play by no longer apply. So let's start with the restrictions, right? This is the super tactical stuff. So get your pen and papers ready if you have them. So traditionally, Facebook lead ads would get set up with what's called what we call autofill, right? Contact info. If you've ever set up a Facebook lead ad, you've probably seen this before. Certain pieces of information, contact information, like their name, their email, their phone number, you had to use Facebook's field for it. And if you look down at the very bottom of the screen, you'll notice it says pre-fill information on that photo, okay? Which means Facebook is going to pull the person's email and phone number they signed up with and put that in the form. Now, the person can go and delete it and type in a new one, of course, but most people don't. And, I want to know how many people, drop a 5 in the chat if this is you, how many people probably don't have their current phone or their current best phone number or email on their Facebook account, right? It's probably a lot of us, and people will go back and delete it. So like, that's fine, right? This is how it's always been. And people have seen a lot of success with this, but that is part of the problem you would see with this. Okay. So the pros of this though, is it's easier to use, right? Why does Facebook do that? They want to help advertisers get leads, right? Facebook is a business. So they want to help us get leads. So they make it easier for the prospect to submit their info. Hey, we already have this info on your Facebook profile. So, just like AI, right? You don't even have to type it out. Hey, here's the phone number. You just got to click next. That's correct. Okay. Making it easier. So this also helps us as advertisers increase lead volume, right? Good. Those are good, positive things. But the cons is, like we just discussed, that info is often outdated. That info often isn't even correct. So you end up with incorrect phone numbers and emails and some of that stuff. Now, as a disclaimer, before I go into this, this still works. We still have partners using some of this form, absolutely crushing it. A couple incorrect phone numbers here and there, a couple junk leads, like that's always been part of the game on any advertising platform, whether it's Facebook, Google, Angie, whatever, like that is part of the game. Okay. So this still 100% works, but the idea is, what if it could be better? And that's where our experiments came from. That's why I started this painting company, to go find what are the new cutting edge things that are working now. How can it be better, right? How can it evolve? So like I said, Facebook went through a lot of updates, Q4 last year and Q1. It was a troubling time. It was a lot of fun going through all those. And all those updates, remember, Facebook's a business too. So all those updates centered around making it more enticing for advertisers to keep traffic on Facebook, rather than send it to a third-party website or third-party tools or all that sort of stuff. So this is what I'm calling the new secret lead form on Facebook, because this isn't necessarily something that Facebook has come out and said publicly, and that they have said like, hey, this is this is a thing you can do now. But I'll just share with you the trends. I'm just going to share with you what's working for us right now. Like I said, this is the brand new stuff. So this is a different lead form. If you notice at the bottom of that screen, it says custom questions, not autofill. Okay. So you have always been able to create custom questions in Facebook, right? You've always been able to create qualifying questions. Are you the homeowner, etc., to qualify your lead a little bit further. But previously, if you made a custom question that said email, phone number, Facebook would flag it and reject your ad, right? Because they don't want you to use that. They want you to use the contact info fields they have established. So they would not let you do that previously. Okay. We have tested this form, knowing some of the updates Facebook was making. I tested one of these forms and it got approved with 0 issue. Now I have created dozens of these forms with different iterations. We have done this in dozens and dozens of ad accounts for several of our partners in literally markets all over the US, the Midwest, Florida, California, literally all over. And we have not had a single ad get rejected. For anybody that has ever run a Facebook ad, you know how easy it is to get something rejected. You get stuff rejected and you don't even know why half the time. We have not gotten a single form rejected with this structure of putting custom questions for the contact info. Okay. And it is my theory that that is from those updates Facebook has made, but this is not necessarily one they have publicly talked about as a result of that. But if you look at some of the other updates Facebook is making, it is all in alignment with this. They're making lots of updates with their lead forms. They're making lots of updates to make it to entice advertisers to keep people on their platform rather than sending them somewhere else. Which again, think of Facebook, it makes sense as a business. They want to keep people on their platform so then they can show them more ads and make more money. If instead I'm sending you to a third-party site and doing all this other stuff, Facebook will potentially lose money because then they get off somewhere in a different rabbit hole on YouTube or whatever, right? So this is the big thing. If y'all think that's crazy, drop a 2 in the chat if y'all are like mind blown right now, because when we were figuring this out, it didn't even feel real, but it very much is. So yeah, I think it's pretty crazy. I guess maybe not a lot of other people, but all right, we got some 2s in there. Cool. So I kind of already talked about so this. Well, no, I guess I really haven't. The stuff we've seen, okay, because of this, we have seen a higher quality lead, which I'll go into a little bit more in a minute, at a similar cost. Okay, so before we had to put in all these qualifying questions and then have the autofill and that sort of stuff, right? Now, by running a form like this, we're seeing a higher quality lead at a similar cost, or said differently, lower cost for the same quality of lead, right? And that incorrect phone number percentage, which is always, 2 to 3%, it was always a few people here and there. We're seeing that drop to nearly 0%, which is unheard of in most advertising. Okay. Now here's the really fun stuff. Okay. Diving into the anti-marketing side of things. And in my opinion, this is how you can be a world-class marketer in 2024. I know we're in 2023 right now, but we're halfway through it. And again, in my opinion, we are the only one doing this right now. I know all the marketers in space. I don't know anybody else that is doing this. And this is what we've just discovered in the last 2 to 3 months. So I believe if you guys can figure this out and do this properly, this is how you're really going to win in 2024 and 2025. I believe we're that early on these principles. So from all my crazy tests, by far, our best performing ads were what I was doing in our anti-marketer style. Okay. And here are the 2 biggest changes. They're naturally with the copy and creative. I always say advertising is both a science and an art, right? You have the scientific side, which is clicking all the right buttons, all the technical side of setting up the ads correctly. And then you have the artistic side, which is the actual ad itself. What does the ad look like? What does the ad say? So ad copy, gone are the days of all the emojis, all the giant text, right? Stop screaming at your prospects and putting everything in all caps. Stop putting all these emojis in here. I put an example up here. Some of that ad copy is actually ours that was stolen before. But stop writing ads like this, okay? It will work, but it's not the newest stuff that is performing the best right now. So what we have found is really working is give it what we call an honest contractor feel, okay? Literally, that's the best way to describe it. Think of it as an honest contractor feel. Hey, my name's Eric and I run a painting company. Hey guys, I'm a local painting contractor. Here's my story. Like that's very much what our copy is approaching from, with no emojis, no big caps, right? Think of it this way. What is a post somebody in your community would share? We want it to feel more like a post rather than an ad. Okay, if it feels like a post, just a local contractor just making an honest living posted, we see those are performing the best. Okay, this is something I have really discovered, which makes sense. Like when you hear this, you're like, oh, of course. But this is something I feel like I've really discovered from running our own painting company is people want a small business feel with big business amenities, meaning this. People want to feel like they're working with a small business. They're supporting the local guy, right? That's what they want. But they don't want the guy that isn't going to respond, that takes a week, that is unorganized and all that sort of stuff. They want the big business amenities of a person that's going to answer the phone whenever they call, and people that have their systems dialed in and a good sales process and accurate pricing. And they want all those big business amenities. but they want to feel like they're supporting the local guy in their community, especially for a home service basement or a home service business, which all of us run. Okay. So what's that perfect middle ground? Let's build a freaking big business, but let's market as if we're a small, local, honest person. And let's not be disingenuous about that, of course, but let's put that style into our writing and into our advertising. And that's where we're finding this perfect middle ground. Does the honest contractor copy work just as well with commercial or mostly residential? We really only work with residential companies. So Jordan, I can't really say to that. Jose, no, this would not be that. This would not be that. Okay. So we're gonna tell a story as well. Okay, honest contractor. Okay, so then we're gonna tell the story like, hey, this is what we're doing. Tell a story. Hey, I'm an honest contractor. Here's the story of my company and my brand and all this sort of stuff. Okay. And then bonus points. Here's a big bonus point with this whole process. If you can with a, oh, by the way, style offer, right? So we have this honest contractor copy. Hey, I'm this local guy in the community, blah, 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 blah. Here's this big story. It doesn't even feel like an ad at all. Cap it off with a, oh, hey, by the way, if you've read this far, we're doing this special promotion. And we found that that is just the knife in the coffin at the end of this thing. And just doing that literally dropped our lead cost by like $5 a lead on some of these things, right? So you got the super honest contractor feel copy. Tell the story of who you are, no emojis, no big caps, no whatever. And then cap it off with the knife in the coffin of, oh, hey, by the way, anybody that clicks on this, you'll get XYZ as well. Okay. Keep in mind with this, your core marketing principles still apply. Okay. Where I've seen other people start to do this, but then go astray is they like write a giant paragraph or something. No. Your principles still apply. The first line or two of the copy still have to hook them in. Okay. You still have to tell a great story. You still have to have a good offer, right? Which is that, oh, by the way, offer. You still have to have a call to action, tell them exactly what they need to do when they click on the ad. And we still got to have some sort of urgency. Like those principles apply. We're just disguising it to make it not feel like an ad. Okay. If this is making sense, can I get some threes in the chats if you guys are vibing with this right now? Yeah. Okay, cool. Oh, what up, Vanessa? Welcome to the party. Awesome. Cool. I'm glad you guys are digging this. Cool. The other big part of this, okay, comes to add images in videos. Okay. Again, think we're not going to be a marketer anymore. So get rid of logos. Okay. Get rid of logos in those creatives. We went through and like purged every single creative for all of the painting companies we work with. I told my designer, I was like, I never want you to make another creative with a logo in it again. Okay. Get rid of the logos, get rid of the big text, right? So if you got a creative, let's say you're running a before and after photo, and you got like a big, like 20% off text, get that out of there. What does it do? It screams ad. It's what they put on a TV commercial. So when somebody's going on to look at their friend's Facebook post, they're like, it's an ad, and they scroll right past it, right? We create what we call ad blindness. Okay. You want the edits to be simple in these creatives, okay? Literally think of it this way. Is this photo, video, whatever is in my ad, is it so simple that like a pretty tech savvy mom on her playing around on her phone for a couple evenings could have done it? Because that's the post that people want to interact with, right? They're going on Facebook. They want to see what other homeowners in their community are sharing and talking about. So if it's way over edited and it doesn't look like something that somebody could have put together, it's not going to perform well. Because again, we have that ad blindness. We'll think it's an ad and just scroll right past it. The big thing I want to put here for everybody is you do have to put your ego aside here. I cannot tell you how many times, we presented one of those very simple creatives to one of our partners that we work with, and they get all flustered and they're like, I want to put my logo in it, branding, right? That's cool. But like your lead cost doesn't care what you think, how cool you think the ad is, right? It only cares how well it actually performs. So like, that's cool. But the data shows us it'll work better if you put that ego aside. Who cares about the branding? Who cares about the logo? Who cares about the big text? If it looks pretty, if the graphic designer did a great job, let's do what works. And this is what the data is showing us right now. Okay. And again, your core marketing principles are still going to apply. So I think a lot of people would see this and just go, oh, okay, like here's a photo from a job, boom, ad. Your core principles still apply, okay? So you want contrast, right? Let's say you are doing a before and after. The bigger the transition in those before and afters, right? If you got cabinets that you took from oak to like red, boom, that is a huge contrast. That will perform better than gray to white, right? Same thing, colors that pop. Let's say maybe you don't have a lot of content and you're doing a collage. Okay, well, if you put all, again, let's use the cabinet example. If they were all white and gray cabinets or a bunch of just neutral colors, that ad won't perform as well as if you had some neutral colors and then you had a blue one in the top right. That contrast, like those are the core marketing principles that are still going to apply. Same thing if you guys are doing like any selfie style videos, right? Having a hook in the first couple seconds to pull them in, all those principles still apply. Again, we're just disguising it and doing it a little differently, not in the way most marketers think about it, right? How can I take those same principles, but now do them kind of almost disguised as if I was a homeowner? That's how these ads are performing really, really well right now. Yes, exactly, Morgan, exactly. Tanner, by the way, what's my cutoff time? I'm sorry.
I don't know, man. I'm enamored. I'm just sitting here listening. I have no clue.
All right, cool. I don't think I have that much more. So
you're good. You're good. Keep going.
So here's some things to think about. When you combined that new Facebook lead form, the tactic side I showed you, with this anti-marketer ad style, here is some of the stuff we've seen. Okay. We've seen a higher quality lead at a similar cost, right? Or again, said differently, the same type of lead at a lower cost. Okay. So we're producing the same quality leads we were before, but paying less for them. That's a bonus. That incorrect contact info that you always had, 3% of or whatever, down to nearly 0%. It's like one here and there. We've seen, and I mean this nicely, we've seen some pretty untrained admin teams, some people that really suck at calling leads on time, achieve a 50% or higher appointment set rate. It looks like my slide got cut off here, but this is supposed to say like this is for the busy paint entrepreneur, right? Here's the reality, just being straight with you guys. I run a marketing company that services painters, right? If painters then don't call the leads on time and don't follow our appointment setting process because they're super busy, they tell me the leads suck and they cancel and I lose business, right? Even though I know the leads work because I'm running them in my own painting company right now. But like that is just the reality, is a lot of you guys are busy and you can't call these leads or do this necessarily properly. So we have had to find creative solutions to get around that. And we've seen some pretty just untrained admin teams, some people that are brand new to this or, can only call during their lunch break, still set 50% or more of appointments. So what that means is if you got 10 leads through, setting at least 5 appointments or more. There's the rest of my slide. And we've seen some pretty well-trained admin teams set 75% of appointments or higher, right? Meaning if they got 10 leads, they're getting 7.5 appointments or more. Okay. Within our painting company, I'm sorry, I didn't get this to put on the slide, but within our painting company, we have our admin / appointment setter in Mexico. We hired overseas for that. She was brand new, green, just graduated college, no sales experience, no admin experience, nothing. Just had good English and a good work ethic. Little rocky at the beginning, naturally, of any new team member. This is June, right? So, yeah, sorry, I'm getting my months mixed up. This month, we are currently at like a 78% appointment set rate. And the previous month, we were at like a 56%. Okay. And you can see that difference in partially her skill set. Okay. But that is literally on this exact strategy. That's what we're doing for our painting company currently right now. Okay. And she's pretty good. She's using our system. She's full-time. That's all she does is call leads. Okay. Yeah, exactly. This is from the ad that I'm talking about, from that ad style. Cost per lead via this form. Burgess, it depends a little bit on some of the other qualification stuff, region of the US you're in, that sort of stuff as well. But call it $30 to $55 as far as a range. Caleb, immediately call leads immediately as soon as they come in, as soon as you can. Yeah, exactly, Spencer. The other big thing we're seeing with this strategy, this doesn't really like matter as much. Like this is more the feelings, not the data, but it's just something interesting to note is we see way more positive engagement on the ads. Don't get me wrong, there's always haters, right? Like there's always like, we just got some comments on our ads the other day being like, this is stupid, you know, whatever. You always get some people hating. But we see a lot more people being like, this is so cool, like want to support a local business because again, it's got that honest contractor feel. Okay. So we see a lot more positive engagement, which is pretty cool. And for everybody asking too, because I get this question like once every other day, it feels like. I just want to very quickly cover how we're leveraging AI in the process. And then Morgan's going to come in after and tell me everything I'm messing up with this and how it can be better. Because I'm no AI expert. This is just how we're leveraging it right now. And I'm just as excited as you guys to learn from Morgan next. So in my opinion, ChatGPT is not really that good at writing ad copy. I've got it to spit out some pretty decent stuff, but it required a lot of work to get it to spit out the stuff I wanted. So the other thing I've noticed is AI copy is all starting to look the same. Tanner, I actually texted Tanner a couple weeks ago and I took a screenshot of an ad. I was like, look at this ad, like it's so bad. And I literally texted him. I said, look, the first 2 lines were stolen from Pathfinder and the second paragraph was written by AI. You can start to tell they all tend to have the same writing style. They tend to use the same emojis. I'm going to call some people out right now. If you see something with the painter emoji and then a little dazzle emoji after, it was probably written by AI with not very good prompts. Like it's almost a dead giveaway at this point, because when you've spent several hours putting prompts into this stuff, you just start to notice the trends and then you just see it everywhere. Right. But what that means is if everybody's using that and everybody's not using that with the proper prompts, it all starts to look the same, which means you look like everybody else. Again, unless you are incredibly good at training AIs or giving them the right prompts. Like I put a good amount of time into it and I was able to get it to spit out some really solid stuff for me. But the reality is, and I mean this nicely to everybody listening, but like how many painters sitting here that are painting company owners are really diving that deep into it? Probably not. You guys are going on ChatGPT and typing in 1 or 2 things and copying and pasting, and that looks good, right? And that's why Morgan's going to help us out in the next session. But that is what I've noticed with that. Here is some really useful ways. I'm not anti-AI. Trust me, I'm a big fan of AI. But here are the prompts I've been giving to ChatGPT that has really helped us the most. Prompts like I will input our ad copy and then I'll say rewrite this, but more concisely. Okay. I'll say rewrite this, but at a 3rd grade reading level, or rewrite this, but add a bit of sarcasm. Okay, so now it's taking my writing and it's not coming up with something, but it's tweaking it. And the reason these are some of my favorite prompts is think about this. Most people have a pretty short attention span, right? We live in a world of short form content, TikTok, et cetera. Most people have a pretty short attention span. And most people, the reality is, aren't that good of readers, right? Like the average person, I think some study was done somewhere, don't quote me on this. Hermosi says it all the time that like the average person can't read above a 3rd grade reading level. So he tries to write all his copy at that level. That's where I got that from. But I'm trying to make it simple and easy to understand so that the person reading it on the other end, the average homeowner, is not confused as to what my ad says. Right. And if I can say it in shorter words, in less words, but get the same point across, the better. I'm going to butcher quotes again, but there was some like famous president or somebody or something that wrote a letter, some like famous declaration or something, and he signed it that with, I'm so sorry, it would have been shorter, but I didn't have more time. Right. The more concise we can make it and the easier we can make it for people to read, the better. So that is why those prompts I have found incredibly helpful in terms of thinking about some of that stuff. And then 2, just getting creative with it, right? Rewrite this with a little bit of sarcasm. One thing we did recently, my recruiter, it was fun. We were putting an ad together for a project manager for a painting company. It actually just started on Monday, a couple days ago. But we took the ad she wrote up and then said, rewrite this, but in the style of Bob Ross, right? Rewrite this, but in the style of so-and-so. And that's been a really great way to get some ideas. What it spits out is still not the final version, but this just acts as a phenomenal process for inspiration rather than sitting there and brainstorming and typing out ideas. And a process that would take hours can get condensed, right? And it's a great way to reiterate some of that writing, okay, and get almost as if you had a proofreader to a certain extent. So I kind of just want to end off on this, that none of this matters, guys. Like all this cool advertising stuff and everything, like none of it matters if the thoughts in your brain are garbage or if your sales process sucks. Okay. Just to put it bluntly, I can't speak on this enough. I've seen it firsthand. Like this exact strategy I talked through with you guys that I am using for a brand new company in Cleveland that nobody knows, no brand recognition. We've gotten one referral in the entire 3 months of us running. Every other lead has come from Facebook. Yet somehow I'm at a 8% cost of marketing in this brand new company, right? We are running the same things for other people, painting companies we work with in different parts of the US that did $1 million last year on just word of mouth or whatever, right? And some of them aren't doing well, okay? They're the same exact leads. But if you notice the trends, it's exactly that. It's the thoughts they tell themselves are garbage, right? They're surrounded with people that do not have the right mindset, are not lifting them up, right? They're surrounded by people that are constantly chasing shiny objects. And we've just seen this giant trend, okay? The last thing I want to touch on, sorry, I had one more slide there, but I stopped sharing it. The last thing I also want to put out there is I've also seen this trend a lot too. People come into marketing, right? Whatever that is, they start using AI for the first time. They start using Dripjobs for the first time. They start using Facebook or Google or whatever. And then it doesn't work that well in the first like month and they're freaking out. I want you to think about that just slightly differently and think, why would you expect to be good at it? You've never done it before. Like if you go take these principles I gave you here and you went and ran a Facebook ad, okay? Why would you expect it to be just as good as the one I've run, right? I told you at the beginning of this presentation, I've been working in advertising for almost 8 years now, okay? If this is your first time ever running a Facebook ad, why would you expect it to be just as good? Like it does take reps, okay? One of my first coaches said, you got to get consistent before you get good. And I see a lot of people expecting to just be amazing immediately when it takes time, right? So go get the reps, go learn. This is something I'm guilty of too, right? That I'm constantly reminding myself of with our painting company, right? I'm making all sorts of mistakes in terms of production and subcontractors and all sorts of stuff. Got to get consistent before I got to get good. Got to go get the reps first, right? Got to go make the mistakes and have the learning lessons in order to progress forward. Okay. So those are some of the biggest just takeaways as far as kicking this off, guys, that I want you to take into all these other presentations of just remember, who are you surrounding yourself with? What are the thoughts coming into your brain, and focus on learning and getting better and improving, taking it step by step there. So that is all I got. Tanner, if we got time for Q&A, we can do it. I don't really know the schedule.
Yeah, we do. Of course, we got to get a little Q&A in. So ask your Facebook questions. What's up, guys? Welcome to Blast Off 2023. We're on day 2. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your team to tune in. They can listen on their phone, in their car. They can listen on the ladder. It doesn't matter. Get the information in. We got some great speakers today. We got Morgan coming up. We got Steve. And of course, guys, if you want to sign up for Dripjobs, we're giving 60 days for free. Go to dripjobs.com. Put in promo code BLASTOFF. All right, guys, drop your questions for Eric. Eric, you have access to the chat, man, so you can cherry pick some questions, guys. Facebook questions, what not to do, what to do. They're going to start rolling in, Eric. So start reading. Make sure you read them out loud so everybody can get them. And
John,
knock them out.
What is the name of the painting company? That'll probably come public in, I don't know, maybe the next few months, but it's purposely been kept private for now, for a handful of reasons, right? Just to buy us some time before everybody starts copying exactly what we're doing. How often should I be posting to my Facebook? Alexander, I'm assuming you're talking about posting, just like posting organically to your following and stuff. Honestly, like this, from an advertising point of view, like think of those as two totally different avenues for leads and revenue, right? Organic and paid ads, they're totally different. In terms of how does that help the paid ads? Like it doesn't really matter. Make a post here and there so they see your page is active once every couple weeks, etc. Don't overthink it. Just get something out there. So if people click on your profile from the ad, they're like, oh, this isn't a scam. Like this is a real company. Look, they're making some posts. Cool. Right. That's how we go about it. We have found that you can do well with Facebook organically for sure, or Instagram organically or whatever. It just does take time, right? You're building up an organic audience where advertising is pay to play. You know, it may take you tons of time to produce all this content, get in front of people, etc., where I can go spend $100 and get in front of 1,000 people immediately. So very different strategies. I tend to lean into the paid advertising side, and the organic happens as a byproduct and a bonus of that, right? Rather than the other way around is how I go about it. Hopefully that makes sense. But for a small business that's 1 year in, what percentage would you commit to ads? I love this question, Chris, because I think a lot of people get this wrong in the industry. I know I have people come to me all the time like, I heard so-and-so say 5% of revenue and this and that. Okay. So here's the rule I go by. In terms of KPIs, right? We talk about KPIs, like you want to close 30% of appointments and this and that. My KPI is for every $1 I spend on advertising, I want to make $10 or more back out. Okay. The big companies call this a cost of marketing percentage. Okay. So $1 in, $10 or more back out. That's my KPI. Again, once you get ramped up and this is really, really working, you're probably not going to be there in your first month or two starting a new marketing channel while you're figuring it all out. Okay. But those are my KPIs. So with that in mind, if you notice, like I'm kind of answering your question, but a little differently, I'd focus less on like, what's the percentage of that? And more realistically, what can I allocate and how much do I want to grow? Okay. If maybe you're only doing, I don't know, let's say you're just starting out, you're only doing 200,000 a year, but you're, doing it on the side, you got this part-time job too, or your wife or husband's working and bringing in a lot of income too. Well, if you want to grow a ton and add another 50,000 a month in revenue and bring on another couple crews and all this sort of stuff, well, can you take $5,000 a month and go dump it into marketing? Like that's how I reverse engineer my numbers rather than like, oh, I'm doing this much. How much should I spend? I'm going to spend based on what I can spend without killing my company in terms of cash flow, but I'm going to spend based on my goal of what I want to do on $1 in, $10 out, rather than the percentage of current revenue, right? I'm going to spend based on the revenue I want to have rather than the current revenue I do have, if that makes sense. Is IG a different beast or will the same methods also apply to Facebook? Great question, Jose. So Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. So thing. If you guys go set up these ads in the background, putting the ad on Instagram is literally clicking like 2 more buttons. It's not quite as simple as that because it's formatted a little differently on Instagram. Like for all the marketers that have copied our previous copies, if you say like click blank button below with an arrow, right? On Instagram, the button's above you, right? So things are formatted a little bit differently on Instagram, but it's basically the same. That's really the only difference is things are just formatted a little differently. Getting the ad there is literally clicking 1 or 2 buttons more. How do I start doing Facebook ads? Take some of this training and go run with it. Honestly, like here's the really unsexy answer. I should be like, book a call with Pathfinder and work with us and whatever. And you can do that. We're happy to help. But like YouTube's a phenomenal resource. You can learn a ton of stuff for free. Just via YouTube. There's also some courses and stuff out there, and we have some trainings, free and paid. We can certainly give you as well. But honestly, you could take this training and those principles and go watch a few YouTube videos on how to set up Facebook ads, and have a really good chance of doing it successfully if you're sharp and paying attention and stuff. What do you spend on a typical ad, John? It's going to depend on, again, some of the other stuff we talked about, right? Budget, where you want to be with that. I don't recommend anybody spend less than $500 a month on ad spend. Because again, let's just take that 1 to 10 rule. And what's everybody's average ticket size here? Probably between 3,500 to like 5,500, I would guess. If you're doing interiors and exteriors, it's probably most people's average ticket size. So if you're spending $500 a month and you're doing well and making 10x back, that's one $5,000 job. You're going to land 1 job a month. Okay, so we should spend in accordance to that. I don't recommend anybody spend less than $500 a month. Otherwise, just wait. Ideally, a good sweet spot for a lot of people, what I find myself recommending to a lot of people is like $750 to $1,250 in terms of ad spend. So we don't overwhelm them with too many opportunities, but they have enough to get some traction without wrecking their bankroll. But it depends so much on the company. How much volume can you intake? Do you have a full-time sales guy that needs another 5 appointments? You should spend a lot more, right? So that's why you asked. Yeah, exactly, Morgan. Thank you. aside from offline networking, how can you leverage Instagram? Is posting on there important than Facebook with the new generation preferring IG? So I see this a lot too. So it's funny. We actually had one of our partners come to us the other day, and he's freaking out, and he's like, my friend in my area is they're doing Facebook organically, and it took them a year to make this work. It won't work for me. I'm like, no, man, like you just need to call the leads. It's fine. But he was freaking out. So here's the difference. Like when you guys are when you hear something like that, what you're doing, Jose, is you're still thinking about Facebook and Instagram as an organic point of view, right? Oh, everybody on Facebook is old. When you run an ad, I can run the ad to only people that are 18 to 25 years old. So let's just target the young people on there, right? When you're posting organically, you don't have that control. But when you're running ads, you have that control of who it goes to. So you can target whoever you want on both. In terms of Facebook and Instagram, but on the market and the brand, et cetera, we normally see a little bit better results in terms of Facebook rather than Instagram. But again, they're all ran through the same advertising platform. So it's just how much spend goes to each. Should your Facebook ad link be your Dripjobs appointment setting page or a custom landing page? So Tim, I actually recommend with some of the updates Facebook has made. Earlier in the presentation, I talked about how Facebook is really, Facebook made a lot of updates to really incentivize people to incentivize advertisers to keep traffic on their platform. Okay, that's why they've made some updates to lead forms and some of that stuff, and the lead forms have gotten a lot better. So I actually recommend keeping your traffic on Facebook to get the lead. What we do with a lot of our partners is we use that lead form, and then at the end of the lead form, you can have a call to action, which is go to a website, call us now, that sort of stuff. And for a lot of our partners that are using Dripjobs, then we have the Dripjobs booking link right there. So we get the lead on Facebook, right? We make Facebook happy. We optimize these ads correctly. We keep traffic on the platform. And then at the end, we say, hey, if you want to book a estimate now, just click the link below, and that'll take them over to Dripjobs or Calendly or whatever scheduling software or whatever. And that's how we've seen that work. I dropped a Facebook ad guy yesterday, but definitely use Eric's copywriting. 100%. Yeah, cool. Yeah, you guys got best both worlds. I couldn't be here yesterday, but that's awesome. Like double teaming that without even knowing. Yep, cool. Just post on both different audience. Exactly, Spencer. Do you need to have all the leads on Facebook? So the office admin need to communicate via Messenger or just call and not message? So the ad strategy I went over here is not Messenger. We have run a lot of Messenger ads before, and like you can absolutely still see success with it. It's just not what we're seeing perform best right now. I recommend running a lead form, putting those custom questions in without those autofill responses. So when that happens, Jose, what you'll do is you also use a software called Zapier, which I'm sure if you guys are using Dripjobs and other marketing, you guys are familiar with it. Super simple. Somebody from my team or Tanner's team or somebody can probably help you set it up. And then we'll use Zapier to zap that info over wherever it needs to go. So we'll take that info from the lead form and send it to you in an email or a text message, or put it right into Dripjobs automatically so they start getting followed up with, and some of that other stuff. So no, to answer your question short, they wouldn't be in Messenger with this strategy. They would come through differently. How do you find your lead forms that have not been filled out? It says there is one on Facebook for a recent ad, but I can't find it. Kimberly, I'm not totally sure I understand the question. Tanner, can we bring people up? That thing?
Yeah. So just go to participants. You got a few more minutes. Go to participants and then search their name. And then on the right hand side, hit allow to talk. So if you click participants, it should bring
Kimberly,
up.
I'm calling you up if you can come up.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay.
Is this Kimberly from the group chat, Kimberly?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, cool. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, Red Tulip Designs. So okay, I did an ad and I did a lead form, like what everything you suggested there, and a custom form and all that good stuff. And on Facebook, it says that I have one submission, but I can't find it anywhere. And so they charged me for that one submission, but I have dug through everywhere and I cannot find it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to explain it to you without giving you a visual. And maybe actually I can, let me see if I can share my screen and just do something as well without showing anybody's information. But essentially, so I'm assuming you didn't have a Zap or anything set up.
No, I filled out, submitted the ad with the lead form. I typed in like, what's your first and last name, address, yada, 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 for them to submit. But then like within 2 days, it said that I had a form submission when I look at the ad statistics, but then it doesn't show me where to go. So I've gone into my business manager section. I mean, I've gone into the ad section. I've gone everywhere and I cannot find it.
Okay, cool. Here, I'm going to share my screen. I got something that doesn't show any proprietary information or anything. This is why setting up that Zap is really important. If you come over within your ads manager, right, this is just one of our accounts. If you come over to the actual ad level, here is where you probably see that like 1, right?
Yeah.
If you just click on that, you'll be able to download a CSV file and have that info. But that's where the Zap comes in. So you get that information immediately as soon as it comes through.
Okay. I may have to pick your brain about the whole Zap thing here.
Yeah, it's super simple. I promise. It'll take somebody 5 minutes to set up.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where the Zap info comes in, because otherwise you're like checking it every day and trying to, like, oh, did I get one and download it? And now I got to call them ASAP, but it came in 2 hours ago because I didn't check it, and it can be a pain in the butt. So definitely the app, that's how you'll still get that lead, because sometimes a Zap will break too. Not often, but every now and then you got to go in and you don't want to miss those leads, obviously.
I figured I would ask this question because I know there's other people out there and they're like, where the heck is all of this stuff? So
yeah, no, great question. Also, just as a side point, oh, that's so funny. That's Carlos. That's my tech guy. Shout out, Carlos. I appreciate you, brother. But also, like, just because you said they still charge me for it. So just keep in mind for everybody listening too, like Facebook and Google work a little differently. Google will charge you per click, right? Depending on how you're running the ads. But with Facebook, you're getting billed whether you get a lead or not, right? Because you're paying to get in front of people. You're paying for the impressions. It's a bidding platform rather than like on the clicks. So just keep that in mind. Otherwise, like in case you ran an ad and it did really bad and it didn't get a lead for like a week or something, you thought you weren't getting charged or anything, like you're getting billed because your ad's still getting in front of people, if that makes sense. So just for everybody else listening too. Cool. Kimberly, was there anything else on that? No.
not that I can think of. I've just I've got some ads finally picking up steam now. So
good. Cool.
Thank you.
Keep me updated.
Eric, I think we got time for one more question, brother.
Cool. I don't see anything else in the chat. I see Cynthia's hand raised. I don't know, Cynthia, phone was in the pocket. That was a butt tap or something, but feel free to unmute.
No, thanks. I think I just pressed it by mistake.
Just a tap. Cool.
But very insightful. Thank you.
For sure. No problem. Cool. Yeah. If anybody else has anything, feel free to drop it in there. Otherwise, we'll wrap up. Also, while we're waiting to see if there's one last question, Tanner yelled at me last year for not being a marketer and having offer. I tend to be the anti-marketer, right? So I've never had an offer for you guys. However, he forced me this time. He said I need to do something. So what we will do, I'll go ahead and put a link here in the chat. We're actually gonna do something pretty crazy, and anybody that clicks on that link and goes and just puts their name, phone number, email, and books a call with us, we'll actually give you a free month of Facebook advertising. Now, please don't book that link and be like, I'm gonna, just get a first free month and whatever. That's gonna be prorated through 4 months, right? So similar like how an apartment complex would, but it's still a really, really freaking good deal. And we're literally gonna buy you a month for free of our service. So feel free to click on that, just submit your info, and then book a time with either me or Vanessa, who's our head of client success. You'll talk with us, and we'll help as much as we can. Treat it like a mini coaching call and have some fun in the process. So does it help or hurt with past clients liking or commenting on your ads, both with visibility and cost? It definitely helps. Actually, it's probably still on my Instagram story. You can go check it out. We had two previous clients of jobs we just finished in our painting company drop like a paragraph of how awesome it was working with us and all this sort of stuff. The one has like 6 likes from other people. It definitely helps because, again, it's just showing Facebook. It should lower your cost per impression, right? How much it costs you to get in front of people, because those are all just like good marks on your ad that Facebook sees and goes, oh, hey, people like this ad. People are commenting on this ad. It's a very small part of the equation. Like if you're not getting comments on your ad, don't stress it. It doesn't matter that much, but it definitely, to answer your question, it definitely helps. Alexander, run an ad. Don't boost it. No, you're good. Definitely don't boost it. It's like boosting is like the training wheels version. You just don't have very many options. It should be on my story on Instagram. I believe it's still up. I'm just at Eric Foz on all socials. So cool.
Awesome, guys. Eric, thank you, brother. We appreciate you and all that you do for the industry, guys. Give Eric a shot. Go to the link, see what he's got to say for yourself. Do not hesitate to get help with marketing. Eric studies this every day, does it every day. It's kind of like taxes. Like if you guys try to do your own taxes, you're going to miss out on opportunity. And what's interesting with marketing, you can waste a lot of money marketing in the wrong direction. So in other words, you might think you're saving money doing your taxes, but you have tax professionals that do this every day that know loopholes that could probably save you more money than what you would spend to pay the tax person to do your taxes. And that's what I believe about marketing. So if you don't know what you're doing, hire someone that does. That's the motto. If you want to try it out, Eric gave you some cool tips to do it yourself. But even, in the last 2 years, Facebook ad manager has changed like 10 times. I haven't done ads in so long. I don't know. Some of you guys remember I used to like offer sort of like an ad service. That was like 3 years ago. I went into Facebook ads manager the other day and literally I looked like a deer in the headlights. I didn't even know what was in there. Things were moved around. They're talking about all these different things. Like Eric is living in this thing. He probably has it open right now on his computer. All right.
Yeah,
so
I just showed Kimberly.
just showed it. Yeah. Yeah. So ultimately, guys, if you get anything out of what we're doing today, some people that speak have things to offer you. They wouldn't be here if they weren't of high integrity. So, consider that when making a decision if you want to partner with them.